Okay, so we'll get straight into it. So we're going to go back to our objective, right? Using Lords of Surds to simplify expressions, right? And give exact answers. Now, we had a lot of discussion about what an irrational number was, and therefore why surd form was an exact form. Can you remind me about that? You start. What's an irrational number?
One which can be made into a fraction.
Can be.
Can't.
Can't be, yeah. So one that can't be. So what numbers can't be expressed as a fraction? And don't say irrational numbers.
Numbers with decimals?
No. Well, numbers with decimals can be irrational. You can't have an irrational number that's not a decimal, but not all decimals are irrational.
No, I meant like...
So be specific.
Like 0.5.
That's not irrational. That's a fraction. So what shows it's going to be irrational?
A prime number under a root.
Yeah, but what is the decimal?
Oh, recurring. No, wait, no. Non-recurring and non-terminating.
Non-recurring and non-terminating. It is on the board. Okay, means the book out, Schneider. Ready with us?
Yeah.
Yeah. That means that if I work out the decimal, it goes on forever, and there's no pattern that can be found. And I did say actually, all square roots will end up being irrational, except for which ones?
Non-prime numbers.
Well, the thing is, the square root of 6 isn't a prime number. 6 is not a prime number, but it will still be irrational.
Oh. But then...
So the only numbers that won't be, and that's because what we're leading up to shows why, by the way. Alright? Which numbers will give you a nice answer when you give square root?
Even? No, because 2's are...
Exactly, 2's even, and a prime.
Square numbers.
Square numbers, good. So the square numbers are
1, 4, 9.
They're not going to give irrational because they give the lovely whole answers. Square root of 1 is...
1.
0.
Don't keep me holding on, guys. Square root of 1?
1.
1. Square root of 4?
2.
Square root of 9?
3.
Square root of 16?
4.
Square root of 49?
7.
7. Good. Okay, so they're fine. But any others will give you an irrational number. And then we started working out why. And it's because of this situation here. We said prime numbers, that's what causes the problem. Well, it's not a problem anyway, is it? But we look at a number like 50. Now, 50 is not a prime number, is it?
Yeah.
Not a prime number at all. But it's got a prime factor. The prime factor is 2. Right? What we've looked for in 50 is a prime factor and a square factor. Square number that's a factor, because if we can find a square number that is a factor, I can use this because the square root of 25 is 5. I can deal with that. The square root of 2, I have to leave it as it is. So I write the answer 5 square root 2. Now, if I were to turn that into a decimal, well, could you do that for me? I would have to do 5 times the square root of 2. What is it as a decimal? Can you do any calculator? What do you get? 5 times, you know how to do square root? Second function and x squared. So second function square root.
Wait.
And
Second
2.
function what?
So the blue button here, and then this button down here.
Ah, got it.
Got the blue square root. You see it on your calculator.
7.07160.
Yeah, so I press enter. 7.07. Is there any repeating going on? Is that a terminating decimal?
No.
It's
So why does
non-terminating.
it stop at 2?
Because there isn't enough space. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
the calculator doesn't go any further, yeah?
Yeah.
It only does a certain number of numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. So square root of 2 we know goes on forever. Therefore, it doesn't matter how many times you multiply the square root of 2 by another whole number, you will still get
A non-terminating.
a non-terming, non-recurring decimal. Okay. There is only one thing you can multiply the square root of 2 by and end up with a nice answer that's not irrational. Anyone know what that would be? So if I do the square root of 2 multiplied by some... Oh, sorry, I don't... Be careful with that. Don't let the thing go over it again. So multiplied by another something. Any smart... What can you multiply square root of 2 by to get a nice answer? I'm going to let you think for a second.
You would have said
Yeah,
yes.
right, you got it, dog.
I've got it too already.
So, before Joao goes on about chocolate and crisps again, right? So we were making this step. I said 5 times root 2 gives you another irrational number. That's why we can simplify. Root 50 to 5 right 2 is fine. Right? It still gives you an irrational number. It's a simplified irrational number. That's all. Okay. So 5 root 2 and root 50 are the same, and it gives you another decimal. We wrote that decimal out. I've not done this time. Right? Now, if you do other solutions like 6 root 2, 7 root 2, 8 root 2, they will all give you another irrational number. I said there was only one option, but yeah, okay, 0 times root 2, well done, Oscar. I want to give you a dragon for that, shouldn't I? Yes. Is 0, right? So that gets rid of the irrational number.
I did that already.
Really, alright.
I also did
The other one, which is the girls did here, is if you do root 2
How do you do that?
multiplied by another root 2,
Oh.
you get the same thing as root 2 squared.
I got 8.
What?
I did square root of 2 times 2 to the power of 2 plus 5.
Okay, that looks very
How do you do it
complicated.
on the calculator?
No.
So, right, what we've got is the reason is root 2, and so square root and squaring are the opposite things of each other, yeah? So do you remember we've done functions before? If we do x square rooted, we get an answer y, okay? If we do that, if we square it, we get back to the same place, yeah? So square rooting is the same, right? So square root squared gives you, in this case, 2. How do you do it on your calculator? Well,
Yeah, how do you do like square?
so my calculator, I can either do square root 2, press the arrow to get outside of it again, and then do times the square root of 2 again, arrow, press enter, I get the answer 2. The other option is to do this, brackets, square root 2,
Power of 2.
brackets, power of 2 or x squared. Oh, now that's not going to work, is it?
Because it's inside the
Because
thing.
it's inside, so I can go delete,
It's down.
delete,
How do
delete.
you do that?
Okay, I'm going to go out, 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 brackets, and then square it. Don't worry about that square, it's empty. I could even go in and press, just in case. I'm going to put, what power do I put if I don't want it to be different?
1.
Good, well done. Well, you obviously learned from your homework. So that's the square root of 2 squared is 2 again. Okay? So just to check, if I have the square root of 8 and I square it, what's the answer? What do you reckon? What's the square root of 8 squared? Don't know.
Or 8 to the power of 4.
8 to the power of 4, you think? You think it's just 8? Andrew thought it's just 8.
I also think
You think it's just 8. I would say, exactly, you get the idea.
yes.
The square root and square cancel each other out, so you're left with just the number. Now that's a very, very useful thing. It will become useful in Surds. Okay? But anyway, let's go back to this then. This one we did at the end. Square root of 18. Let's simplify that. So, Joao, talk us through it. First of all, split into the two factors.
So first we do 6 times 2. 6 to the power of 2.
What are the factors of 18? Right, let me give you a few options.
6.
We can do 6 times 3 makes 18, yeah?
Yes.
Ah.
Or we can do 9 times 2, that's also 18. Now, which one of those options am I going to choose to use?
The first one.
Number 4.
The bottom one, the first one, the bottom one, the second one.
Yeah,
Is that just because everyone else said it? You need to wake
No.
up. Wake up. What do you reckon?
I reckon.
Second. You think the first? Is that a guess?
No, it's
Why would you say the second one? What's your reason? Because Radislav said it. If Radislav says it, it must be right.
No, no.
Andrew, go. You said you were confident.
Because 9 can be like 3 and
Yeah.
you circle the 3.
Yeah, exactly. What we want is to be able to split this, don't we? So this becomes square root of 9 times the square root of 2.
you can do the same thing.
And this one is nice, isn't it? The square root of 9 is 3. Square root 2. So that's a nice simplified answer. If I did this one, look, square root of 6 times square root of 3. Well, what's the square root of 6? What's the square root of 6?
What?
2.4.
It's another horrible answer. Square root of 3. No, another horrible answer. Doesn't help us. Yeah?
I got the right answer. But
No, I think what you did was you wrote 6 instead of 9.
No. I work.
Because you were saying 6 times 2, and I think you wrote a 9. You should-
It's 6.
yeah, you've done 6 times
And I
2.
did the answer.
But 6
right.
times, yeah, but you wrote 6 instead of a 9. Because the square root of 6 you've written as 3.
I did it on purpose though.
Well, that's worrying.
But I got the answer right.
Yes, I know, but if you think the square root of... Well, first of all, 6 times 2 is 12 and not 18. And if you think the square root of 6 is 3, that's another problem. Okay, so those are both options. This is the one we want to use. This one we don't want to use. Okay?
How did I get the answer right?
Because we did that in class yesterday, and I think you just wrote 6 instead of 9. Genuinely, I'm not being funny, I think that's what you did. Okay, let's give you another couple to do before I get to the book. So, can you simplify these for me?
Is that 45?
45, square root of 45. And, okay guys, let's have a look through. Oh, shall I? We just woke you up with a start. Oof, did you hear him snort? It's like, shall I? The answer. What? Okay, so let's have a go. So remember what I said. First step, Andrew, is to break the number into two factors. Now, with a lot of these numbers, there's lots of options. Lots of options, right? Especially 72. So for instance, I'm going to do this one over here so I've got a bit of space. Root 72. Now 72 could be, well you've said, 6 times 12. The trouble with that is I'm looking for a square number that is a factor. So the square numbers are the ones that are useful. 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 4. They're the ones that I want to find. 1, yeah, but it's not useful. Okay? Now 6 and 12, neither of them are square numbers. So it doesn't really help. Do you understand why?
I look.
Right, so what's another option for 72?
8 times 9.
8 times 9, okay. 8 times 9 as well. Now that, oh awesome, I've got a 9. I've got a square root. Now, what I'm going to, that isn't even the one I was thinking of. The one I was thinking of is 2 times 36. Right? But I'm going to do both of those. I'm going to do your 8 times 9 and I'm going to do 2 times 36 and show you that they're the same answer.
So
You're right, you found it.
Agree with you.
Right. So, what I'm going to do is we're going to have a go first at the square root of 72 is 36 times 2, because that then becomes the square root of 36 times
square root of 2.
square root of 2.
Oh yes, then I know.
Square root of 36 is 6 root 2. So that's the answer.
And then
Right.
it's the same answer for the other
Now, I'm just going to show you, so you might want to write this down. If you've done the 8 times 9 one, it gives you the same answer. But I'm going to show you, it's an extra step. So 8 times 9 is fine as a starting point. Okay? So we would do the square root of 8 times the square root of 9. The square root of 9 is 3. So at the moment I've got 3 root 8.
Yes.
But that is not as simple as it can be, because we know the answer should be 6 root 2. Alright? Can anyone spot how I could go further from this point? Well, what we've got to do is look in the square root symbol. Can we split it any further?
Because 2 times 4 is equal
Good.
to
So I've got
8.
3 times root 4 times 2.
And the 2 escape out and
Exactly.
3 times
So I've got
2.
3 times root 4 times root 2, which is 3 times 2 times
2.
root 2, which is 6 times root 2. So you get the same answer either way, but just an extra couple of things to do. Make sense? Yeah? Okay. Let's have a look at the other ones. Do you want to write that down? Okay. Before we move on then, let's go through these answers. So we knew that 72, we've just done it. So we said 6 root 2. What about 242? Is root
101 times
21.
So 2 times 121. Okay. So that would be 11 root 2. Good.
What? Oh, because half of 121 is 11.
No,
Oh, because 11 times 11 is 121.
exactly. Yeah. Root 54 becomes root
Root of
6 times
6 times 9. Yeah?
9. Yeah.
So that becomes root 6 times root 9 becomes 3 root 6. Is that the end point?
Yes.
No.
So, can you do it?
Well, can I simplify root 6 any further?
You can.
To what? But if I do 3 times root 6 as 3 times root 2 times root 3, well, it's just 6 is 2 times 3, yeah? But can I simplify any of those?
No.
No, so actually 3 root 6, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
It stops there. Is that what you all got?
Yes.
Is that what you got, Ranazar? Yeah. Okay, that board looks a bit of a mess, doesn't it? With all that stuff all over it, but you get the idea. The answers that we need. So we've got 3 root 5, 6 root 2, 11 root 2, and finally 3 root 6. Just to show you that some of them don't simplify any further. So even though 6 is not a prime number because there's no square factor. It doesn't go any further. It doesn't simplify anymore.
Without even working out. 4D.
You got an answer 6 root 2. It should be 3 root 6.
That's what I did.
Oh yeah, I can see it. It's a different line. Yes, that's fine. Okay, guys, you're with me because I want to move on. Actually, not move on. Move back to something quite easy. Right. So now you've done this, it will seem really quite easy. Right. It'll make sense. So let's just go through. We've got root 8. Now the thing in the question, it says all of them are going to be something times root 2. Now that gives you a really good clue, and that all the pairs of factors in the square root I've done here for root 8 something times 2. Something times 2. And that's what you have to figure out. So C, for instance, root 50, we just go straight for, but it's 25 times 2, which means root 25 is 5, and it's root 2. Right? Simple as that. Okay? Root 98 is what times 2? So we divide it by 2 and we get,
49.
pardon?
49.
49. It's going to be a square number, isn't it? So then it's 7
7 to the square root.
root 2. Okay? Root 200 is root
100 times 2.
100 times 2. So that's
Square root of
10
Okay, yes.
root 2.
No. That's not what I did.
That's the answer. Because the square root of 100 is 10.
Because 10 times 10 is 100.
Yeah, exactly. Root 288 is, again, 144 times 2. We're limited by the times 2. So that gives us 12 root 2. They're all going to be something root 2. They made it really nice. Okay? Root 20,000 is
10,000.
root 10,000 times 2. What's the square root of 10,000? 100.
Oh,
It's 100 root 2. Okay? Right, the last one is a bit tricky. Right, and what we're going to do is we're going to come back to that one. Right, we're going to come back. We need to learn something else first before we can do it. Right. So, but what I want to do in the last 5 minutes, I'm going to take you back, because you'll find this easy now, on page 136. Okay, so we're going to look at page 136 and exercise 6E. Yes, what's that?
We have 25 minutes.
We have 20. Oh, I keep doing that, don't we? Yeah, we do. Yeah, 25 minutes left. Awesome. Brilliant. Solves all my issues. Exercise 6E. Are you all with me, or are you still writing down a couple of solutions? No? Right. You have learnt how to simplify a surd. Now that's actually quite a higher level thing to be able to do. Not the highest level thing to be able to do with surds, but it's quite a high one. What we're going to have a look is we're going to recap. I want you to a point to remember. Okay? I need you to remember your laws of indices. Do you remember them? We did it before. You've just done your homework on it. Okay? So, question 1 and 2, okay, are going to be really, really easy. Question 1 and 2 are going to be really, really easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through question 1A.
Easy.
Really easy.
How is that easy?
Well, we were talking about it before. So, if we do root 7 squared. Come on, Joe, you were saying this was easy an hour ago. What's the answer? Andrew?
7.
7. Remember that?
Oh, easy.
Oh yeah, because the root cancels out the.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
the root,
yes.
the root and the square cancel each other.
So easy.
So easy.
B is 13. C is 15.
Yeah, exactly.
D is for 24.
Right. The other one I want to do though is E, which is 1 over root 3 squared. Now this is where you need to remember your laws of indices. What does that become?
What?
Callista.
So it becomes 1 squared and 3 to the root. Root 3 and then a 2 next.
And squared.
Yeah.
So do you remember, laws of indices, the power gets done to both of them. Remember that? Right. Now that simplifies, because a couple of you in your homework weren't simplifying. 1 squared is 1.
Will be E1.
Root 3 squared is
3.
3. So it just becomes 1 over 3. Yeah? Make sense? Right, I'm going to get you to do question 1 now, very quickly. Shouldn't take you very long at all. Right, so we've got things like, I'll just do G, so it's on the video. 1 over root 17 squared. So again, the squared gets applied on the top and it gets applied on the bottom. And then 1 squared is 1 over 17. Really easy. But I just want to check, what would you say if I said it's 2 over root 8 squared? If I asked you to do that, what would you tell me was the final answer? And I want you to take a moment, Andrew, to think of the final simplified answer. Okay, take a moment to think this through. The final simplified answer. Think it through. Eagle, what would you think?
It's a half. 1 out of 2.
It's a half. Why do you say that?
Because the root and the square cancel each other out.
Yeah,
and
so it
2
becomes over 8, that's
Yeah.
fine.
And 2 times 2 is 4.
Okay.
And 4 out of 8 is a half.
So that would be your answer. Okay. So what I wanted to show you there is it's not, because we just fell into changing the bottom number to just the number, 1 over 17, 1 over 7, blah, blah, blah. But I don't want you to forget that the top number is effective in all these cases. 1 squared is still 1. But if it's not a 1 squared, it has to be done. So 2 squared makes the 4. Alright? Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on then. Question 2. The cube root of 2 cubed. Let's just do it verbally together. The cube root of 2 cubed is? That's question 2. The cube root of 2 cubed.
I don't know.
Well, it's wrong then. If you don't know how to say it, you've got the wrong
It's
thing.
6.
Right, let me say this. What's the square root of 2 squared?
2.
2. Right, remember?
2, yeah.
The square root of 2 squared is 2. What's the cube root of 2 cubed? 2.
They stay the same.
Because the cube root with the little 3 is cancelled out by
The 3.
a cubed.
Oh, so the cube gets cancelled out by the
So
cube.
squaring and square rooting go together. Cubing and cube rooting go together. Cube rooting and squaring,
No.
Don't go.
no link.
So it's like that 3 is biting the other 3 and that other 3 disappears.
Yeah, if you like.
That's fine.
A little shark is bites little power 3 or power x. I think that works.
Power 3.
If it's like power x, it's not power, it's any number.
So, okay, I could say a to the x root to the power of x will be
A.
a, as long as the x's are the same. So, for instance,
Wait.
And it's
3 to the 5th root of 3 to the 5th root to the power of 5 equals
3.
3.
But
But,
if outside was power of 5 and inside was a power of 3,
so if I do 3 cube roots to the power of
5,
5,
would it be 9?
check it.
Because 3 times 3.
Check it on your calculator. Let's do it on our calculator. It's a good one actually, it's a good question to practice on. Let's have a look. The cube root of 3, how do we put that in? What we can do, this math button, press math, and you've got a cube root, but you've also got a root with an x. So just go down to the one with the x, alright, press enter. It says answer at the moment, I've not got an answer, so I'm just going to go back left, where it says that, and I'm going to put a 3, okay, so that's cube root.
How do you do the little...
Okay, so let me do it again. I've got a clear screen, press math, down to number 5, so I can press 5 if I like, but where it says answer, I'm going to go back and delete that, delete, until I get the square back, so this is what I want to see. I put the 3 in there, and then I put a 3. What I then want to do is put the whole thing to power. Now, I'm giving you a few tips on how to use your calculator now. I've got to put the brackets, so afterwards I'm going to put this bracket. How do I get the bracket back in front?
You go to the back.
arrows.
Oh
I
wait,
use the arrows
is the answer 1?
And put
until I'm in
that
front, and I do that. Yeah,
like
good.
that,
Then I go back out.
and
To the power of
Got this housey, roofy arrow thing.
Which is like
Press that, gives me to the power of,
power of 5.
Five.
and I put the power of 5.
and it's 1.
6.2.
It's
Press
6.2.
Oh, what? What'd I do?
Yeah, see, it doesn't work, which is what you told me. So you were right. The cube root and the power of 5 do not work in the same way.
But I said it, it's 6.
Doesn't work.
Well, you're wrong. It's
Oh.
6.24025 and so
The
on.
first number is 6.
Okay.
If you round down, you're right.
I'm rounding down there.
Anyway, right, so they're easy, no? So that's question 2. Now, on question 3, right, I want to have a look at another thing, which is again quite easy. I'm going to do, it's 3 root 2. Now that means 3 times root 2, yeah? And we're going to multiply that by 4 times root 2. Alright? If I have to simplify that, what's the answer? Anyone know? Can anyone figure that one out?
24.
What? Why do you think it's 24?
Because 3 times 4 and 10 times 3 equal 24.
Okay, so why is it 3 times 4 times 2 though? You don't know, that's what you've done. Yeah, we need to make sure we understand why. Yeah.
So do you separate the numbers in the root? So 3 times 4 times.
Okay, so can I'm going to do what Radislav's saying. 3, this is 3 times root 2. Now you don't have to write it out like this normally, but I'm just doing it as an explanation. 3 times root 2 times 4 times root 2. Now you know with multiplication it can be written in any order, can't it? 2 times 3, 3 times 2, same answer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rearrange. Okay, I'm going to rearrange this, and I'm going to do it's 3 times 4 times root 2 times root 2. There we are again. So, any of that gets simplified? 3 times 4 is 12. What about root 2 times root 2? 2. We've done that, haven't we?
2.
So the answer is
24.
24. So those 2 root 2's multiply to become the 2, which is the focus of all our lesson today, really. Okay. and so that you can get on with 10 minutes worth of work. So that covers all question 3. Question 4, just want to check root 2 plus root 2, okay, or that's A, B, root 2 minus root 2. Any ideas? 2 plus root 2 plus root 2. Any ideas?
Is
What do you think?
it like normal? Because I don't know.
I'll give you a clue. Think of it algebraically. What if I said simplify x plus x?
Oh,
What would you say?
you don't have any. It'd be x, right?
No. No, there won't be x squared. 2x.
Also, is it 4 squared?
No.
Square root 4.
No. No, it's not 2.
2 squared.
No,
It's 4.
it's not.
2. No.
How do you say?
Times
Root.
Root 2.
Just root 2.
No.
No. You found?
Root 2.
No, you don't know.
I don't know.
Give me a go. Everyone else is managing to have a go. What do you think?
2 root 2.
Good job, you had a go. 2 root 2. The answer.
Oh, what?
Like x plus x is 2x. Root 2 plus root 2.
Is 2
2 root 2. What's root 2 minus root 2? Well done, Callista. 0.
Because
What is, just out of example,
Wait, are we doing
3 root 2 plus root 2?
2 root 2 times 3.
4 root 2.
4 root 2s.
Why?
Because I've got 3 root 2s plus another root 2.
Oh,
And I've got 4 root 2s. What about 7 root 3 minus 4 root 3? Is 3 root 3.
Wait, Mr. Pot, is the 2 root 2 in the A or in the B?
A.
Because you put it in the middle.
I was talking about that question. But I understand. My mistake. Okay? That hopefully gives you enough information to now do questions 3 and 4 and 5. That'll keep you going for a little bit of time.
Are we doing it for homework?
We've got 5 minutes. I'm not going to give you homework today because you've only just handed in homework, haven't you?
Yeah.
Okay.